All right, hello everybody. Welcome. I could have left that login screen going for a while there. Like I suppose I probably could have gone live a couple of minutes earlier and just lingered with that. We might do that next time. I don't know. It sort of messes with the VOD as well. I don't like the thought of people clicking the VOD and then. I mean, everyone skips ahead anyway, right? I'm definitely one of those people that I'll click a YouTube video and always cut, like, I'll just skip straight through the first 25%, 33% or whatever. Anyway, yeah, hi guys. Big day, hopefully. There's been some news about these specs. So what I'm going to do is read the blog post blind again. I mean, it worked well the last two videos. So let's do it again, baby. The slide into garbage content. That's what you're looking at. Yeah, I don't know. But I think it's weird. I feel like it is more fun seeing these reactions blind. If it's not a blind reaction to the blog post, I don't know how much value there is, really. I mean, when I was younger, maybe I thought there was something. But I really just think read it yourself, you know. So like, this coming Friday, there's going to be a big live stream. And I suppose I could re-stream it. I don't know whether I want to do that. So I'll see what I'm going to do for that. Because I also don't just want to rebroadcast their stream and just, I don't know, do a live react or something. We'll see what's going on there. Anyway, yeah, today there's going to be a blog post, so I probably won't do too much chat as we roll into it here. I've been playing the crap out of Guild Wars this year in general. However, I have to be honest, since the last video you guys saw, I haven't really touched it that much. I've been logging in and getting my daily gathering. But it's just that thing, like, I'm done at the moment. I'm kind of just done with it. I could not find this bandit chest earlier. I've gathered everything else, but I couldn't find the bandit chest. So I'm really not sure what to do. I mean, I could get into fractals and raids. But as it stands right now, I'm kind of just waiting on bated breath for the upcoming news. So yeah, I don't know. What we'll do, guys, is we'll do a video in a video. And then what we'll do is we'll have like a long, cool outro where we do lots of stuff with the live chat. And in fact, speaking of that, hello to everybody who's made it live here. I'm going to scroll up and read some of your comments. Oh, first of all, about 10 minutes ago, John Sellers sent 10 gift memberships. Thank you so much, John. And yeah, anybody who wants to support the channel, feel free to get a membership either for yourself or do some gifts. That's really, really wonderful. John is like carrying the channel hard here in terms of memberships. It's insane, really. I don't know how many of your comments I should read, though, because basically the blog post came out a couple of hours ago, and I guess everyone's really excited to talk about the specs, and if I read these comments, they'll kind of be spoilers, won't they? Like, I've already, again, as I grab the screenshots and stuff, I've seen a few little bits and pieces. Like, completely unpredictable stuff. Like, one of them is to do with the Sylvari, right? But it's just, oh, the Sylvari are on their wild hunt to be this elite specialization. Like, how can you predict that? You could use that justification for anything, anywhere in the game. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm a bit nervous about reading these. There's so many good messages. I guess I will skip them for now. Please restream their stream for your insights. Well, I'll give you my insights. I'll just give it a bit more condensed than a restream, you know. I think what I'll do probably is I'll watch the stream and then I'll do like a sum up kind of thing, so you won't get first impressions on that one. The thing is, right, I mean, a lot is riding on today. I really wasn't that excited about the EOD stuff, and the weapon edition with Secrets of the Obscure I equally was kind of mid about. The spears are blatantly really high quality and really well made, but also I was kind of mid about. So I'm in a place right now where I'm like the beta for the spears, I didn't really do any extravagant coverage over that. The beta for the Secrets of the Obscure weapons, I didn't really do it. Even with the End of Dragons ones, I remember watching the streams with the End of Dragon ones, like not being in the headspace for it. Like I was vaguely excited. I can't remember what content I made, but I was just like, there's something about it that just seems soured, or I don't know. So we'll see. We'll see how we feel after this blog post, basically, and whether we've recaptured that magic and that excitement. A lot of you guys seem very, very excited, so here's hoping that's true. Spoiler, the Guardian is a ritualist. Somehow I don't believe that one, Fang. Somehow. But yeah, okay, so yeah, let's just do it, I guess. I mean, there's no reason to dilly-dally. The other times I've done these, I've sort of had a long, like, hour-long intro section. So you guys ready? Let me get my Coke here. It's so hot today. It's so humid. I'm not having a very good day, to be honest. I'm growing hornwort. Any aquarists out there? I'm growing hornwort at the moment. And I sort of misunderstood the plant. I thought it had to be planted, but mine kept floating up out of the substrate. So I was really confused about it. And actually, it's like a floating plant. It doesn't really like to be planted. And it just looks like a mess. So I don't know. I sort of regret one of my plants of choice here, really. I've also, though, I found an amazing way to rack a monstera to grow, like, aquaponically, which I'm really excited about. Anyway, I've been doing a huge amount of, like, aquarium cleaning and stuff today. I just feel hot and muggy and sweaty and greasy and not good. Oh, you're very disappointed in your favorite class. Ooh. Well, I'm happy to say, if I have a favorite class, I mean, you guys are all going to say it's Ellie. I don't really know if I have a favorite class, but if I do, I don't think it's represented today. Hornwort is your favorite aquarium plant, but you have to let it float. I mean, it's really easy to take care of. That's what the benefit is for me, because I'm a noob, right? I'm basically doing all noob stuff. Show them. I should show you guys. I've got some good little videos of how it's going on. I have an amazing piece of driftwood as well. Driftwood is supposed to get... you can boil it. You want it to sink, right? You can boil it to do that. You can tie weights to it. Or you can just leave it for a while. You're supposed to be able to leave it a week or two. It will get sodden and it will sink to the bottom. This driftwood piece I've got genuinely has taken about 7 weeks. And finally I tested it today. And it's actually dropping to the bottom without any other random crap weighing it down. So I tried to do a proper scape. But it's just awful because there's just hornwort everywhere. So I'm giving up. But yeah, I'm growing a monstera, lucky bamboo, and hornwort at the moment. I tried some like floating plants, but my bubbler like is killing them all because the surface agitation is too high. Anyway, I know no, half of you guys don't give a shit about this. More than half, I know. All right, let's do it. So let's see the blog post. I'm gonna roll a Wooden Potatoes intro here now, and we'll see. Well, hello everybody, and welcome to a very special... Oh, hold on. Whoa. There we go. You guys do hear the audio. Hello everyone, welcome to another very special day today. Arenanet have revealed not 1, not 2, but 3 elite specialization details. We've got the Luminary, we've got the Gale Shot, and we've got the Troubadour. So that is Mesmer, that is Ranger, that is Guardian. If your favorite class isn't on the list, well, that's a bit of a shame. But, you know, it's always easy to multi-class in Guild Wars 2. Maybe something here will capture your attention. I'm very curious about what I'm about to read. I've never read this blog post before. I've got a bunch of screenshots. We're going to go through it here together. I'm hoping to see high-quality art. I'm hoping to see tight themes, clear ideas. And while this is not the live stream, there's going to be a live stream for this later in the week. I'm hoping to get some good sense of like what the mechanics might be. There's also a trailer which they kind of throw us into straight away at the beginning. So just let's see what we've got here, and hopefully we're in for a good time. So like they say here, this is a couple hours old. Elite specializations are back: Mesmer, Ranger, and Guardian. Now the Troubadour for the Mesmer is kind of old hat at this point. You know, the very first icon they showed was that like Bardy icon, which a lot of us immediately guessed was going to be Mesmerish. We got the name reveal very early. The icons for Guardian... Actually, I still don't know what this icon Guardian is. Right now, as I shoot this video, I've got no idea. I guess we'll see as we go through the blog post. So that'll be a bit of a revelation to me. But the Ranger icon is clearly going to be that, the bow with the wings on it. Anyway, yeah, so they open straight away with the trailer. So I'm going to just watch the trailer here. Probably gobsmacked. And we'll see what we'll see. So ready, everybody? Let's see.
Their wild hunt lead them into the world where they experience tragedy and heroics, adventure and excitement. Now that they've returned to the Grove, the Troubadour is ready to share their journeys in melody and tale. Let the instruments aid in battle, blustering your enemies, giving your allies time to attack. The lute strums 3 times on its magical strings, sending pulses of energy forth to deal damage to your enemies. As the battle's tempo ebbs and flows, let the harp heal your allies for a moment of soothing melodies.
Well, we do have support in it then.
Up notes, be ready to strike a crescendo upon your enemies, while giving your allies a helping hand.
Wow, that's quite the wand there.
Tales of the Dominion of Winds are whispered on the breeze.
The Dominion of Wind, seriously? Oh, that makes sense, I guess. We did guess, actually. What was it I guessed? I did a video with Boots earlier in the week where we guessed like one of them might have some Tengu relation. This is, I guess, an obvious choice for it. Very cool. But will that come with, you know, content material? Sorry, I don't mean to pause, guys. I'm just excited. Let's keep going.
The royal houses have emerged, eager to share their ways with the Tyrian alliance. The Gale Shot manipulates magnificent gales to strengthen the power of their bow. Draw your Cyclone Bow, a testament to the magical abilities of these skilled Tengu. With your
Wait, draw your Cyclone Bow. So hold on, is it kind of like a Blade Sworny thing where they got a gun blade, like a third?
Summon. Gain feathers over time. Use these feathers to bluster your enemy, firing 3 arrows rapidly at your target. Evade backwards, shooting a hail of wind and arrows, crippling your would-be assailants. Use your supersonic arrow, bursting forth with the power of the wind, dealing heavy damage.
I like the animations.
And finish off your enemy with a final blow, leaping back with a flourish of arrows. As your enemies fall, let the wind carry their last breath away.
Okay, nice outro line there.
From the ashes of the Char Civil War, the Iron and Flame Legions have combined their technological and magical sensibilities to harness radiant flame to beckon forth an era of change. Call up the Radiant Shroud to gain access to the power bestowed upon you. Protect yourself with your shield and daze your enemies with a quick bash. Bring the hammer down upon them as you grant boons to your allies with the hammer's presence. Take a stance against the damages done to your allies as you heal and grant them.
They're saying hammer. That thing's clearly a great axe right there, by the way.
Become a symbol of hope by fulfilling the duties of the luminary.
Weird. That Guardian, they're such a curveball. Really? Guardian? So it's iron. What did they say? Iron and flame? I mean, I see the faux fire element. It's funny they didn't pick the appropriate characters at any point. Well, you can't do a Tengu, I guess, for the Gale Shot, but we could have had a Sylvari for the Troubadour or a Char here. Man, this was the one Boots and I both guessed the name was going to be Bastion. But it's nice to see it actually in color there. But they've gone with, you know, so hold on. So Luminary is such a weird name for me as well, by the way. I haven't given you guys any commentary on this. Isn't the leader of the Exalted the Luminary? That's immediately what goes to my mind. And then I sort of somewhat think, oh, that means the name's off the table. But, you know, 90% of people don't give a shit about that. So I'm sure that it doesn't really matter to them. Okay, there's a lot to pick at in that trailer. There's actually so much to pick at. I think what's better, though, is for us to continue on down the blog post now. Get those details and then maybe return to the trailer later or see how we feel, because there's no point like speculating, oh, what's this mechanic, if they're just going to explain it in plain text, right? So okay, cool. So there we go. That's the trailer, and hopefully they talk just a little bit more as we go on now about oh, hold on here, about like all the different dimensions we just heard touched on in the trailer. So last week we announced our 6th expansion, Vision of Eternity, and with that comes the news that Elite Specializations are back. Over the next 3 weeks, we'll be providing details on all 9 Elite Specializations through trailers, blogs, and live streams. It's interesting they're doing a 3-3-3 approach, by the way, because to my mind, there's loads of time left before the X-Pack. And, you know, they could have spread it out a little bit more. But no, they're going pretty quick with it. And I kind of like that in a way. It sort of looked like how Spear stuff felt really well made. Across the board, good animations, good mechanics, good visuals, good tooltips and icons and everything. And they didn't seem too rushed with Spear. With End of Dragons, things felt really rushed, remember? And with Secrets of the Obscure a little bit as well. So, you know, the fact that they're getting these all in and out early is kind of awesome. So it's important for them to get the beta in early. So this week, they're focusing on the Mesmer, the Ranger, and the Guardian. Tune into Twitch on this Friday for a live preview, and I'll have a video about that, guys. I don't know whether I'll restream it, because to my mind, I just sort of think, well, you may as well watch it for yourself. But I will do content about it. We'll do some kind of a sum up you know, we'll look at the footage and so on. All right, so the art, I have to say, so I grabbed these screenshots in prep for this video. I really do think they've done very well with the concept art. I mean, look at it. I mean, I kind of want to make a video just about the Troubadour, just so that I can have this as the thumbnail for it all on its own. So good. I'm surprised here, by the way. So, wait. That's not really a wand, right? Is that like a conductor's baton stick thingy? Is that the idea? My ignorance of the world of music is going to come through very, very, very obviously here. Yeah, shouldn't that be a Sylvari? I feel like it would have even been better. You know, a little bit green on that image would have been incredibly cool. So the Troubadour, inspiring storytellers. Now, can I just take a pause for a second? And over here in actual Guild Wars 2, well, let's leave my lovely, bubbly party time home instance here. Some people in the Spud Discord over the week were looking, and I think quite rightly, at another place in the game where we do already have a lot of magic influence and magic things going on, and that's Siren's Landing. Siren's Landing is actually quite an interesting place because you got all of the, what are they called, dirges? Was that right?
Excuse me, traveler. My companion and I are trying to help the Risen.
Oh, are you now? Are you? Look, I'd love to help the Risen, but that's not the topic of the video here today. So, if we rewind all the way to Heart of Thorns and you check out Ancient Magics, the Siren of Ore. You know, you got the Dirge of Melandru and the Dirge of Duena, the Dirge of Lissa. This is obviously all 6 gods based, but I wonder whether we'll see kind of any similarities or anything like that. That's at least something that's on my mind, maybe. It's funny because there's a big Sylvari influence here too. Oh my god, if it's a wild hunt thing, is it about Sylvaris whose wild hunt is to come here? Anyway, since the Firstborn emerged from beneath the boughs of the Pale Tree 36 years ago. Oh wow, that's amazing to read that, isn't it? I'm still used to it being like 25 years, which is the number at the launch of Guild Wars 2, but obviously time marches on, guys. Jeez. Kaith is 36 now. It's nice to know that Kaith is older than me. Many Sylvari have taken the lesson, where life goes, so too should you, to heart, traversing Tyria, battling their inner dragons, and finding their place in the time after. This is one of the sidebar. I wish the story talked a little bit more about the nature of wild hunts and the drive of the Sylvari in a post-Elder Dragon world. But anyway, these far-flung travellers have seen and done much in such a short time, and some, whether through whim or wild hunt, have taken to regaling Tyrians with tales of recent famous and infamous figures, such as the cunning Dougal Keen, the fearless Almora Soulkeeper, and even the scathing Scarlet Briar. Oh wow, are they giving us those names just generically, or are there actually mechanics in the Troubadour related to those three? I love that Dougal gets prominence among those other two. I mean, Jesus Christ. Almora had a serious arc in Guild Wars 2. Scarlet had a serious arc. Dougal never has. Dougal's like a bit of trivia for lore nerds from one of the books, effectively. But there he is. Now these Sylvari troubadours have returned home from their time abroad to share their craft in good faith and to strengthen the bond between their people and the rest of the Tyrian Alliance. So, there's a weird suggestion that they've learnt about this from far away. I wonder if that has much meaning, whether there's a world of minstrels and bards out there. It's very Guild Wars 1 Kurzaki to me, or even, I suppose, thinking about Paragons a little. Troubadours spin dramatic ballads and tales as their words weave magic and music to raise allies' spirits and demoralize their foes. Their recitals can be accompanied by illusory instruments for additional effect. Illusory instruments. So it kind of sounds like your phantasms are instruments now. Now there's no weapon associated with it. Oh my god! If this thing changes all of the phantasm summon abilities to musical instruments, that would be epic. That would be like, you know, like when they released the Weaver and there were just a billion dual skills and it was like, holy shit, I can't believe you put all that effort in. That's how I'd feel about that. Oh god, it's not going to be that though, is it? Let's see. Well, there we go. There she's, and look, she's playing a real instrument there. So what is it? Is it a lute when the head is bent back like that? Build up to a crescendo. Troubadours are by the way, I really do think that Sylvari connection is pretty arbitrary, but okay. Troubadours are I would have tied it with the upper class of Divinity's Reach. That feels like the most natural fit to me, but Troubadours are mesmers who seek to support their allies in battles through the power of music and the fantastical tales of Tyrian heroics. It's funny, there's almost a little bit ritualistic there, right? Like the idea that the ritualist empowers their allies by holding the urn of like great heroes and honoring the heroes of past and stuff. And you know, a little bit Norny feeling there as well. And it's interesting that ritualist has come in the same spec. So does this maybe mean we have a slightly lower chance for seeing like that idea of honoring past heroes being on the Guild Wars 2 ritualist, since it's a very troubadour thing and you wouldn't want to cross the wires too much? Being more orally focused, troubadours opt to manifest their power by generating musical notes with their abilities rather than visually deceptive clones. Oh. So this is a zero clone mesmer. So we're a little bit virtuoso-y. Oh god. See, virtuoso so easily could have fit the shoe for this. But we don't create blades. We create notes. I'm guessing these notes are going to float above our head just like blades, but these notes are used to extend the duration of their instrumental enhancements, allowing them to command a lasting presence in combat. Once one of them's in full swing, troubadours use their keynote skill crescendo to swing the tide of battle with appropriate flair. Wow, okay, so this is all very fluffy and flavory. Are they going to actually explain fully how these work? Is this kind of a thing where, you know, a standard Mesmer sort of experience is building clones to shatter. Your payoff is on the shatter. Is it different now where it's building clones to pay off with a phantasm? Is that the idea? Or something? The power of songs and tales. When playing as a troubadour, your shatter skills are replaced... Oh, no. Okay. This is going to play much the same. So the shatter skills are your instruments. When an instrument is played, it produces an initial magical effect. Performing with the reverberating lute will release waves of sonic energy, damaging enemies. We heard about that in the trailer. By the way, was that a new voice in the trailer? Strumming the harmonious harp. So I'm guessing that's F1. That's Mind Rack now. The lute is your damage, right? Strumming the harmonious harp will create a healing area to provide succor to allies. So F2, Cry of Frustration, has become a healing thing? After an instrument is used, it will no, maybe I'm being too specific here. After an instrument's used, it will continue playing in the background, providing bonuses to the player that can be further augmented through traits. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, if you guys came along for my recent Final Fantasy XIV series just a few months ago, I was playing a bard there, and that played a bit like this, right? The song kept playing in the background and providing buffs and perks in different ways. Troubadours use their voices as well as their instruments. So hold on, are some shatters instruments and some shatters voices? They can recite the tale of Queen Jenna protecting Divinity's Reach to grant their allies distortion. There's another human connection. Or they can invoke the story of Scarlet Briar, emulating her cruelty to debilitate their enemies. Sounds like an F3. Troubadours can become a whole band on their own. I mean, think about it as well with Uzlan's mechanical orchestra. Through the Grandmaster trait Call and Response, creating an afterimage of an instrument that repeats its effect. Well, there's your echo mechanic, but we're not talking about the Paragon yet. Oh, a lot of this is going to come down to the stream, isn't it, guys? A lot of it's going to come down to the stream. Oh my god, and we're already onto the Gale shot. Wow. Okay, so this blog post is really just giving us a vibe of, like, the idea. It's more about thematics. And we still have a lot to guess at for the gameplay. Well, there you go. That's the troubadour. I mean, much of what I feel like we just read there, we effectively could have gathered just from the name, right? And the class combination. Interesting. It might be worth looking back at that trailer. Some of those animations did feel quite familiar to animations we've already seen, just recolored pink, and I don't want to see too much of that. But okay, alright, moving on then, I guess I'll create... By the way, guys, I'm trying to do, for these videos, chapter timestamps. There were a lot of chapter timestamps on the last video, but they took a while to process. Let me know if they're not there. You should be able to just click to your favorite class as I cover, you know, all 9 of these over the upcoming days. All right, so the Gale shot. I said if you missed my podcast I did with Boots earlier in the week, I just want to say again, that icon, the Gale shot icon, That to me is my favorite icon, purely in terms of aesthetics. Look at that thing. It looks so good. And especially here now that it's coloured in. The painterly style with it. Now we have a Sylvari. Oh, man. I wonder what their temptation was to put a Tengu in that concept art. Oh, because obviously you can't play them. So I'll tell you what they could do, guys. All right. They could have had a character in-game. But they could have put it on... see, I don't actually think I own this, by the way. But one of the new headpieces... God, if I type bird, will it come up? No. Oh, it won't be listed in order, will it? There's a new headpiece in the game that just makes your character look like it has a bird head. I don't know where I'm going to be able to find it. I think it might have been the gem store. You might have been able to earn it in-game. They should have just done that, though. That would have been amazing. All right, okay, so let's see the Gale shot. My immediate thoughts, by the way, watching that trailer there was it was like a mashup of longbow and shortbow. You know, you had the jump back on an attack. That's shortbow 3. You had the rapid fire pew pew. That's longbow 2, right? But it did seem to be creating these big walls of wind. That looked pretty fun. It's funny they went with Tengu. I feel like another good fit might have been the Zephyrhites, right? With their aspect of wind and so on. I speculated earlier in the week it might be about very high jumps. We did kind of see a jumpy, twirly thing. I guess I'm just really curious about the mechanic here. It sounds like this thing gets its own third type of bow. And some of you guys are going to hear that and say, oh, that sounds really silly. I'm kind of coming at that from a Guild Wars 1 mindset where we had 4 very distinct kinds of bows. You know, you had the flat bows and the recurve bows and the long bows. What was the other one? But they all had very different arcs and very different fire rates and hit rates and stuff. Very cool. Play Guild Wars 1. It's a good RPG. So anyway, we'll see. The Gale shot. Masters of the Wind. There was a line in the trailer just now that I thought seemed a bit iffy. And that was about how the Tengu are eager to share shit with us. Are they? I thought they were still incredibly isolationist. So the Gale shot. Masters of the Wind. For over 100 years, the Tengu of the Dominion of Winds have kept their gates shut. And their arrows trained on the outside world. Also, okay, look, what I'll articulate what I'm a little bit nervous about here. The moment when the Tengu open their doors, those Tengu, and join us in the world, and become a part of Tyria, larger Tyria, so to speak, that moment, that is an expansion-worthy moment. That's an experience I want to play. That's a big deal. I'm really nervous that this blog post is about to offhandedly reveal it's happened. Off screen. Like, that would be really, really lame. And I hope that that's not what's about to happen. That'll be like when we just happen to meet the dwarves again in Champions in the middle of the, you know, the end of the Icebreed Saga. I don't like stuff like that. We'll see. Okay. For over 100 years, the Tengu of the Dominion Winds have kept their gates shut and their areas trained on the outside world. Nice little visual imagery there. Any of us who played Season 1 will remember them shooting us down as Scarlet attacked the city. After minions of Primordus and Jormag threatened to siege the Dominion's walls in the last Dragon Rise, speaking of champions, that's what they're talking about there, some Tengu, nice, have emerged to more actively engage in Tyrian affairs. As a rare honour, they offer cultural exchanges at the behest of their royal houses. Brilliant. Oh, mwah, love it. Even a little reference there to their royal houses, of which we know almost nothing. One such exchange is the honoured tradition of the Gale shot. Cool! These Tengu archers, skilled and oath-bound to protect the royal houses, are able to summon the 4 cardinal winds to form a powerful cyclone bow and deliver swift justice to their foes. That idea of the Cardinals is something that's been associated with them before, so that's a very cool match. As contributing members of the Tyrian Alliance, the Tengu now offer tutelage in these skills to willing outsiders who express interest in the Gale shot craft. Interesting. I wonder if we get kind of a mechanic where, you know, Druid builds CA to get... Sorry. What do they actually build? Just Celestial Juice? Celestial? What do they build? It's not Life Force, is it? Anyway, Druids build a currency to get into CA. I wonder whether this class builds, like, the 4 winds. Like, you got to do something that procs the north wind and something that procs the south wind and so on. And once you've got all 4... That's Exodia, so to speak, and now you go into your big form, right? And the big form is like a Blade Sworn style, having the new bow. Because this is the thing, the new era of elite specs do not come with left-hand skills, but sometimes elite specs do have that. Necromancer Shroud's obvious example, right? So I would say, oh, this is a shroud based, but it's not, is it? That's what we just saw the Guardian's going to be. So here we got a screenshot of it, the special bow. What did they call it again? The Cyclone Bow? It's a cool name. I mean, that almost looks like a screenshot from the trailer, right? Wielders of the Cyclone Bow. Gale shots are rangers and the premier archers of Tyria. Using their aptitude for nature magic. Oh, wow. That's interesting to me that they said that. Because my kind of big thing about Elite Specs for ages is core lines, but enhanced. There's a plethora of themes. Is that how they view this? Nature magic plus? But, I mean, this sounds very offensively minded. Nature magic, obviously, is not offensively minded for base. I mean, I would almost say Druid is nature magic plus almost, right? I don't know. I think it's... I think a lot of you guys will be thinking like me when we talk about elite specs like that, where you think, oh, is this spec a support spec? Is this spec a CC spec or whatever? I don't think we should really think of them in those terms. Not anymore. Once upon a time, I think Arenanet were operating that way, but nowadays you look at a lot of them and they have different, they've got 3 lines. They usually have like a hybrid, like quality of life line is like the middle line, and they'll have like something supportive, whether that's boon support or heal support or whatever, and they'll have something offensive. Like it for a long time it was correct to say Tempest is a support spec, but it's not anymore. You can very clearly see there's a fat damage line on Tempest with huge damage modifiers, and Tempest does a lot of damage. It just depends on how you want to run it, right? And that's true of so many specs now. So when I'm speculating about this new 9, I'm not really... I'm trying to escape from that idea that, one guy is going to be a support guy, another... No, I think you'll have avenues for specialization with a lot of them. So anyway, using their aptitude for nature magic, they can sculpt and command the wind at will. This power is... I think this is a really good theme, right? Sort of like a windmancer, like a wind-themed magical archer. It's good. It fits nicely into the game. It's not like totally been taken already and stepping on someone else's shoes. This power is manifested in the Cyclone Bow, a weapon that is capable of long-range devastation. Well, there's a bit of a niche for you. The Cyclone Bow increases in strength as it is... It's funny that they're saying that, because I'm expecting a couple of the other classes will have something like that too. So I wonder whether Arenanet are going to do some system changes to make something like that appealing to people, particularly in PvE where it's often not. The Cyclone Bow increases in strength as it's used, culminating in a powerful coup de grace to dispatch... Sorry, guys. Sorry, I said that wrong. Coup de grace. To dispatch your enemies. Learning from nature, gale shots emulate birds in the sky by employing squalls of air. They are swift and graceful to ensure advantageous positioning in battle. So I wonder what that means, actually, in terms of the buttons we press. Wonder if we'll get a button that leaps us over the target and like puts us way behind them or something. They emulate birds in the sky. I like it. I really like the thematics of this. I think it's a good idea. So actually, rather than building up to get the bow and then you have it for a little while and it goes away, it kind of sounds more like you have the bow for a while till it gets really strong and then it's sort of spent. Battle with keen sight and unerring aim. Gale shots are able to call upon the Cyclone Bow at will. So no mechanics to get in and out. That leads me to think very Bladesworn-y in a way. The Cyclone Bow generates arrows over time. These arrows are a resource used to fuel its skills, such as Supersonic Arrow, a lightning-fast shot of wind that deals heavy damage to enemies it pierces. That thing about gathering feathers... It feels very FF14 too, doesn't it? But isn't that's on a different class over there? Or am I thinking about roses or something? As you use arrow-consuming skills with the bow, you progress to... Oh, do you know what, guys? I actually really like this. If they're going big on the archer theme, you know that Guild Wars does have a fairly robust idea of ammunition skills and so on, right? But like very early on in the design for Guild Wars 2, they said we're not going to have actual ammo in this game. Some MMOs, you've got to go to the merchant and buy 300 arrows and 200 poison arrows or whatever you spend them. They very obviously said, no, we're not doing that. It fell in line with a lot of their philosophies, like having a permanent aqua breather underwater. You know, they didn't like mechanics like this. But the actual idea of playing with lots of ammunition, as it's slowly crept in through the balance refinements over the years, is kind of fun. And yet Ranger hasn't really been able to play around in that space much. And here we get it with a bow. So this is kind of a cool way of them taking the new tech, the new ideas of, you know, like overlapping cooldowns and giving it to the bow without actually having to rework longbow or shortbow. I kind of like that. As you use arrow-consuming skills with the bow, you progress towards enabling its finale, Hawkeye. Hawkeye locks onto your target and nearby enemies, and then unleashes a hail of shredding arrows. Lock-on is... Guild Wars is a game. Like, the engine is capable of, you know, like, dodging arrows, obstructing things, you know, treating it a bit more like an FPS than, like, a hit-scanny kind of, like, RPG, more like Guild Wars 1 was. It has all of that, but very rarely does it feel too relevant, again, in PvE. So we'll see how fun that feels. These archers utilize squalls to control the flow of battle. They can call upon a freezing wind to chill their projectiles, launch themselves with a whirlwind, or even summon a raging tornado. Oh my god, the return of Tornado! Tornado's back! Gale shots can form a closer bond with their avian allies through traits like flock together, enhancing bird pets, and granting quickness to allies with beast skills. Okay, hold on. Am I a little bit out... Did they already do something like this? Why is there a tiny little bell in the back of my mind ringing that they might have? That, I think, is really interesting. Tying certain elite specs to certain families of pets. Not even elite specs, necessarily, but just lines. There's been something similar or close to that recently, hasn't there? Somewhere else in the balance. I quite like that, because that creates space for different families of pets to actually be relevant and worthwhile. Like, as the elite spec changes... and that's your decision as a player, you have new encouragement to try pets you wouldn't otherwise, because now a new family is promoted. I think that's inspired. That's very, very, very clever. And it's on theme. That's exactly what you'd want. If you're going to be like this bird sort of associated elite spec, running around with bird pets at the same time. Guys, I like this. I like a lot of what I just read there. I really do. Alright, so now we're on to the third and final one. Man, that's a cool looking character. Is that Nightmare armor? Oh no, that's Decade armor, isn't it? Isn't that the Decade armor that they're wearing right now? Holy crap. Okay, so Luminary. So this is a faux fire themed Guardian. Which I guess is smart putting it on... If you're going to do a faux fire themed elite spec, let's say that they had that as just an idea. Putting it on Guardian's a good idea because blue fire doesn't feel out of place on Guardian. On the other hand, it kind of feels like we're not really indulging in the faux fire thematics because it's just there all over Guardian anyway. Of course, it's making me think about the ghostly weapon summons already. Again, though, with the sword and shield there, it kind of feels like... I mean, is that a normal Guardian sword and shield we're looking at? Or are they faux fire additions, in which case we're looking at even more left-handed skills? Could it be that when we actually get the revelation of these things, we're going to see that there's loads of effectively new weapons coming in anyway? Even though ostensibly this was a stripped-down set of elite specs. Here we go, the Luminary, Protectors of the Secret Flame. The Secret Flame. In the years following the Char Civil War... Look at that, guys. It's been years since the Char Civil War. And the scattering of Bangar's dominion. Oh, really? I don't think we've ever had a set of elite specs that feels so, like, clued in lore-wise. I certainly don't remember reading a blog post like this about other elite specs. In the years following the Char Civil War and the scattering of Bangar's dominion, relations between the four legions have remained steady, bolstered by events after the end of the Dragon cycle. Yeah, it's boring that they're steady, but okay. We're not ready for a story with them yet, so that's fine. With the Flame Legion formally rejoining the legions, and the Iron Legion having appointed Smoder's successor, the two legions sought to commemorate the changing times with a joint project. Thus, the Luminary was born. Well, hold on. What about the project still going on in the Black Citadel? You know, with the ghost bore rifles and all that. In a shrewd diplomatic play, the two legions have since agreed to share their combined efforts with the Tyrian Alliance and its member races in the spirit of continued collaboration in this new era. You know, I'm guessing they very deliberately decided not to have this iconic concept art shown by their actual, like, lore thing. Just so that players know, hey, you don't have to skip this just because you're not a Char. You don't have to skip this just because you're not a Sylvari. You know, it works on everyone. That's kind of what they're tacitly saying, I guess. Thus, the Luminary was born. In a shrewd diplomatic play, the two legions have since agreed to share... Yeah. Luminaries bear an enchanted iron brazier that sustains a powerful sacred flame. The bearer can wreathe themselves with this fire and wield a blazing arsenal of weapons against their foes while striking powerful stances mid-fray. Well, I guess the skill tag for their utilities is going to be stances then. Which is a good fit. You know, it's been how many years you would have thought that this other soldier profession would get stances. Stances for the Guardian. There it is. I like that. Feels very natural. But hold on. An arsenal of weapons? Now, they say arsenal. Could it just be that it's an F1, F2, F3? So this guy's got a great sword. Yeah, and we saw in the trailer that floating... You know, it's almost like a gyro, isn't it? I guess that's the sacred flame. Or the secret flame. They say secret at the header, and then they say sacred later. So I guess that's my flame, and as I play, the flame builds, and I spend the flame. Harness the Radiant Shroud. Oh, right, okay, yeah. So it's a Shroud Guardian. I like this. Do you guys think every single wave of Elite Specs will get a new Shroud now, right? First, we had Reaper Shroud. Then what do we have? Oh, did we not have a Shroud for POF? Then we had Spectre and Harbinger Shroud. Now we have Radiant Shroud. I think Radiant Shroud is the coolest. Just because it's such a reverse. Like, I don't even know how this looks or plays, obviously. But when I think of shrouds, you know, even just the word shrouding, I think of darkness and so on. So the idea of having something that is such an inverse is immediately really captivating. Luminaries are guardians, stalwart combatants on the battlefield, capable of putting out respectable damage or supporting their allies. I don't like lines like that. What does that tell us? I mean, obviously they'll do some damage. Their brazier provides energy for the Radiant Shroud. Right, so the floating thing's the brazier. It gives you Radiant Shroud, in which they are able to wield various weapons of light and flame. I see, so when we go into Shroud, we'll get 5 skills, probably, and each represents a different crazy part of the arsenal. The question is, does that mean Shroud is F4? Probably, right? Oh, I wonder whether it will just have the regular-ass virtues, but just with an F4 tacked on there. That would be new for Guardian. Guardian's always changing up the virtues, but maybe for the first time it won't. They're able to wield various weapons of light and flame to adapt to the situation at hand. Luminaries also have access to stance utilities, gaining additional tools for offense, defense, crowd control, mobility. Radiant Shroud is a new take on the Shroud mechanic. This Shroud has no resource. Wow. Yet you're still calling it a Shroud. Allowing players to always enter when the Shroud is not on cooldown. While in Radiant Shroud, your weapon skills are replaced with 5 new ones. A basic attack in the first slot and 4 Radiant weapon skills in the 2nd through 5th. Okay. Illuminating weaponry. Using a Radiant weapon skill will equip that weapon while performing an initial attack, and then flip over into the weapon's additional skill. The Luminary's Grandmaster minor trait, Radiant Armament, grants a unique passive bonus based on the equipped weapon, which lingers for a bit after exiting the Shroud. So wait, can you take the weapon out of the Shroud? Luminaries looking to maximize their outgoing damage may want to use the hammer right before exiting to take advantage of its bonus passive damage, while those who need to support their allies might prefer to end on staff to gain access to its increased outgoing healing. Players are free to use all 4 weapons while in Shroud, but there is a trade-off. The recharge time of the Radiant Shroud will increase for each weapon used beyond the first. Okay, so we go into Shroud. We hit 3, say. It doesn't attack and equips me the weapon. And now I can tap 3 again. What, over and over and over and over and over again to keep auto-attacking with this new 3. So we have regular... And then when we leave, it goes away, but we get the passive from it still for a bit. This will be one for the stream, I think. Yeah, so... And we get 4, and the only examples we've heard here are hammer and staff. The concept art has shown sword and shield. This one way back here. So I guess that's all 4 of them, probably? And they're all weapons that Guardian already has regular equivalents of. I don't know whether that makes it less exciting or not. Oh, no! What? That's the end? What's next? Oh! We hope you've enjoyed our... Oh, my God. We hope you've enjoyed the first of 3 previews. We'll be back next week with details on the next 3. But don't forget, this Friday, check out the Guild Wars 2 Twitch channel for a closer look at them. And listen, if this is your first rodeo, dear viewer, you should be aware. They tend to do... those streams tend to be quite long. I remember even going back to the when they did the specialization rework before Heart of Thorns came out. Even just that, I remember they went on for hours longer than they wanted to. They looked like they wanted to die by the end. So yeah, could be a good one. Thanks very much for watching. If you've got any thoughts on anything I've missed, I've got two thoughts for you. One, you could drop a comment down below. I will be watching the comments very closely, taking screenshots and so on. 2, head over to the live tab for an expanded version of this video where I'm going to be chatting with people in the live stream about, what we think. Maybe watch the trailer again. Who knows? Thanks very much for watching, guys. Hope you've enjoyed. So far, Visions of Eternity looking pretty good. It's amazing how much these specs add, isn't it? Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. All right, I'm back. I wonder how many people just literally leave at that point. Probably a few. All right, now back to plant talk. It's not very good. Just imagine it's got black gravel. It's got some lucky bamboo, like suction cupped and zip tied to the edge because it's too deep otherwise. And just hornwort everywhere. Yeah, I think I want to rewatch the trailer. I think it would be too much for the video. I'm a bit nervous. I won't really have any insights, so I decided not to do that there. But we can rewatch the trailer here. I want to read your comments now, guys. Guys, everyone in the live chat, I'm going to scroll back up a bit here. What do we think then? I feel like I didn't say enough about the Troubadour, but the truth is, the Troubadour, it kind of is what it says on the tin, right? It's not that it's unexciting or that it's bad or whatever. It's just it was kind of quite cut and dry. I mean, the second we saw that loot icon when it originally came out, I mean, what more were we expecting? With so much of this stuff, the devil's in the details, right? It's actually quite limited what we can say with... It's exciting to see the art, and I love how much they've tied to the lore with this, but it is quite limiting what we can say so far. Yeah, Victor Snyder there says all fluff. I don't know whether it's all fluff, but it's a lot of fluff. Have you ever looked into the Wallstad method? Isn't that where you basically don't even have a filter. You let plants take the entire bioload, right? Someone in Discord was talking to me about it about a year ago. It all comes to how it feels when you push the buttons. Again, I am in a bit of a weird one where it's like, what are the niches for this? Where will we be applying it? You know, like here's the thing that's often on my mind: when the End of Dragons stuff came out, right? They had Willbender, and they had a premise in Willbender where you're just straight up immune to death. Remember when they platformed that and showed that off? I don't know how much more, like, experimental and wild and epic sounding a trait initiative can be, or like a mechanic for an elite spec can sound. I mean, that shit sounds wild, doesn't it? Like that, and yet, having lived those years since End of Dragons, it's had absolutely zero impact or effect on my experience or anything. You know, that's what I mean when I say the devil is in the details. It's almost like you can't trust anything really, because will it really feel that good? Will it really mean that much? I think I pretty much know what I want. I want it to be that a month ago, Arenanet came out and said, here's some fundamental changes. We're making a big shake-up to balance, to meta, to party composition, to the ideas of boons and the access to them. We're taking loads and loads and loads of this away, and now this spec, and this spec is really good at it, you know, and so on and so on. And then I think that would have recaptured my love and my imagination for the game, like a big rebalance. I think if I'd seen that first, and then we had this new wave of elite specs, but a lot of my excitement is tapered somewhat by that. Also, WP, in the beginning of the trailer, when the Mesmer's on screen, it looks like the little orb following the Guardian is passively shooting at the enemy. Yeah, okay, so look, let's do something real here for you guys who have come along live. All right. I don't know whether this will be any good. Let's do like a frame by frame. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mute the trailer audio so it doesn't cut in constantly. You know, it always makes me laugh when I see Guild Wars 2 shit prefaced with this. Blood and gore! Alcohol, violence! I mean, Jesus Christ. This is one of the most, like, kid glove games you can play. But okay, so here we go. So we're playing the instrument. So what did we learn from the blog post just now? We learned that this is an F skill, basically, right? We've generated clones which have become notes, and now we've pressed an F skill. And so it's got, for this lovely animation, it's got quite the cast time on it. It's not going to be snappy feeling, which all shatters currently are, right? The Chrono shatters feel snappy, and the Mirage, well, Mirage just has regular shatters. The blades, these are significant cast times here, and the actual attack is an animation I'm not too impressed by, honestly. So there we go. Okay, so we got the loot, we got the flute. I reckon that red ribbon's gonna look really good, flapping around. I always like skins like that in the game. Also, I like what they're doing with the art on the bottom left here. Yeah, and this thing with the wand, am I right? Is that like a conductor's baton or whatever? I really need this SSD. Every time I pause, look at all this breaking on screen. It's just because I need an SSD. Feel free to check out the Guild Wars 2 store at the link in the description, guys. If enough people do it, I'll be able to afford an SSD. Yeah, like look at this. The Visions of Eternity icon on the top left. It slots in there really nicely. Spellblade says, yeah, I feel without major system reworks, all the design space Elite Specs can explore is pretty much done. Exactly, dude. Exactly. And it actually, and it's one of the, I always kind of cringe a bit when people just say, oh, there needs to be an overhaul. There needs to be a massive rework. And that's what I'm doing right now. So it is cringy. I do appreciate that. Then you need very clear details and ideas. But I do think that Guild Wars needs that. I mean, look, this is just for this 9, but if we're thinking about the game really long term, we're thinking about another 10 years, 20 years. Yes, there might be a Guild Wars 3, but even once that's out, if they want to keep pushing with this game, then they want to be thinking long term, right? It's a conductor's wand. The new Guardian spec feels very Firebrand to me with all the different 1 to 5 skills. Well, I don't think it is that. Paint 2D. I don't think that's what it is. I don't think it's you go into Shroud, you equip the Shroud Hammer, and now you have 5 Shroud Hammer buttons. I don't think it's that. I think you equip the Shroud Hammer by pressing 4, and then you can just press 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. It's a different... I think that's all it is. I think you'll be lucky if it's even an auto attack chain. I guess we'll see on Friday. Philippe says, the real thing that gets me wondering is how Arenanet will balance the classes. Is that weapon mastery is bound to Secrets of the Obscure only? Well, I assume they'll grandfather that in as a core thing, maybe, or they'll have a second choice for it. Similar to how you get multiple choices on how to get your Sky Scale or whatever. Are we still live? We are. Yes. Hello. I think you go into Shroud, you hammer twice, you hop out. Exactly, Caesar. I think that's right. Or you hammer twice, you bow twice, or whatever, sword twice, and then you pop out. Probably sword gives you a Condi buff. Maybe I'm being a bit warrior-minded with that, actually. I don't know. Hammer is flat damage. Staff gives you benevolence. Shield gives you damage reduction, or shares damage reduction, or something. Something like that. I think it'll be something like that. Anyway, we'll get to that in a minute. Maybe we can pick out it in the trailer. So she plays the... So we're just seeing her play all of the instruments. So wait, hold on. Did they say that there was like a grand finale for her? Is that what this last one is, where she doesn't actually have a weapon? She only has a... Yeah, I don't regret trying to do this as a video, because all this pausing would have been terrible. Here, so watch this. There's no weapon there, right? So is that like her bit? Is that the elite? That's something we haven't talked about at all. The elite skills, they're always exciting to me. So she plays this. There's a luminary there, by the way. Oh my god, why is my hard drive so bad? Look at this! Look at how bad this is! I can count the pixels, literally. The blocking there from the bitrate spazzing out is unbelievable. Do you think that's the F5? The conductor? Oh, or maybe that's that thing where you're a band all on your own. That was just like a pulse wave AoE. That's someone with Eureka with a mace, by the way, there. Here I'm just trying to play the video, guys. I'm not even trying to pause it. It's just dying. It's just exploding on me. We're seeing all flavored. Look at this! I swear to God, this is an intact video file. Hold on. I've hit stop. All right. Do you want to try that again? All right, let's try that again. I'm not going to pause unless I absolutely have to. Shit, I'm getting attacked in game now. All right, look, it's working fine. Troubadour. You can get a 1 terabyte SATA M.2 for about $50. Yeah, the prices have come so down. Yeah, it's just like sort of that was there's like a stun on that. So she's playing again here. That I don't know. Isn't one of the sword necro abilities just that but green, right? If I remember rightly, is that the auto chain? Oh, there you go. So she's got a phantasmal weapon there. That's probably the trait that they're talking about. Is that a drum back there? I think that's a drum. Oh my god, it's dying again. Seriously, I'm not messing with the controls at all. Oh my god, I'm so glad this didn't happen just now. I'm so glad that didn't happen while we tried to actually just shoot. Oh, I'm basically dead here. John, my god, $100 from John. SSD fund. Alright, I really have no excuse now, do I? I have no excuse. Okay, guys, after this stream, I will buy an SSD. I promise. I would like to... I think I might have 2 M.2 slots on this. I might. I will buy one. I promise. I promise. And it will be my new resources drive. And it will be where I dump all this stuff. And we'll be a professional for once. Assuming that this is a read-write issue. Which I think it is. Thank you, John. That's so kind of you. Wow. Oh my god, people being so generous. I really love that you guys can thumb that up. That's really good. Alright, let's try again. Third time's the charm. I don't think it's because I put this mask on. This, like, nice art mask. This is very similar to what I did, speaking about that mask, with the POF coverage. So we're kind of just standing there. Like, that is a drum, look. We can see some notes around. I don't know, is that us building them up? That was a Corsair that was being attacked, by the way. Pirate theme for the X-Pack. I guess that's one of the new maps that we were just looking at there. Didn't look like much to draw or talk about. It's just a beach. Here, by the way, that's like the Lotus chair in the background. So we get the Gale shot. That looked like an unsheath, or like when equipping the Cyclone bow, there's some kind of PBAOE around you. So they said that this ends with a big attack, didn't they? There, right, that was the Sylvari doing like an idle animation with the bow, which again makes me think this is kind of Blade Swan-y, where you can just wander around with it if you like. The question is, did you generate the arrows? The other question is, like Blade Swan, do we lose a weapon then? Damn, it's dying on this as well. What if we kill the list cam? So it's only got the one footage to look at. There you go, we kill like a crocodile there. And then here, look, that looks like an axe. I swear we see a great axe in this, don't we? Great axes, whips, stuff like that. I guess they're on the table, but just not this year, maybe next year. This is going to be really good, honestly, because I can play the Secret of the Obscure stuff, the Janthea Wild stuff. I can still play with them and get used to them and have fun with them. The ones where I haven't fully invested yet. And yeah, I'm still enjoying a new Elite spec. It's going to be great. Look at that. It's a ghostly... They're calling that a hammer. I don't really get how the floating lantern works. I don't really... What do? We draw the fire out of it? I mean, I also sort of don't get why they're calling it Shroud if it's not even got, like, you know, a resource expenditure mechanic associated with it. There we go. Okay, so there's a little bit more in the trailer, maybe. All right, I'm looking at you guys, chat. What do we think? I'm sure someone's dropped a comment and I've missed it, and you're feeling bad. Now's your time. Just repost it. Oh, that's the staff, you think? That's an axe staff? Maybe it's a mini cauldron? Carrying the flame like in Grothmar? Hold on. Carrying the flame like in Grothmar. You mean the effigy event? You mean this event here where was there a lantern like that in that? I guess it's Flame Legion because it's fire, and it's Iron Legion because it's like an iron encasing. Actually, do you know what? Not a single thing mentioned anything about the faux fire in the blog post, right? I'm not misremembering that. So I just kind of thought it was going to be to do with that, but it's not. Hey, and another 10 euros from Nish for the SSD fund. Oh, you guys, thank you. Thank you, Nish. And by the way, if you guys do a little donation, that gives you a crown in chat, which will mean if you type anything, trust me, you're going to get preferential VIP treatment for the day. Not only do you make the content better, you shroud yourself in flames, says Kerry. Yeah, I mean, that was like one of the lines they said in the blog post, right? The Luminary had the hammer when they leaped to the target. Yeah, I think the voice actress said something, like the voiceover, she said something like, hammer, and yeah, I did. I totally invented the faux fire bit. I mean, it's Blue Flame, Ascalon associated. I guess Arenanet continue to not want to discuss that topic. It's funny because I was playing Season 2 with Kerry last week. We did that bit. And it's funny to know that that's like the last time we've talked about the faux fire. Season 2. I'll say, by the way, that arc where Ritlock goes into the mist is kind of an epic arc that unifies so much story on replay. Like, you're there in the middle of Season 2, right? Very little of what's going on in Season 2 it remains relevant, like truly relevant. But there, Ritlock jumps in the mist, and it's like, holy shit, he's about to meet Balthazar. And all of a sudden, you've got this really amazing through line and connection. Not just from Season 2, but into Heart of Thorns, but with Ritlock coming back and the mystery of what's going on. And all the way through POF, even post-POF. It's kind of it's really cool. I think Guild Wars like lacks arcs like that, you know? In fact, I think Season 2 feels one of the best seasons because you can really feel that they're planning ahead. Anyway, that's a bit off topic. The concept art matches the original races from 2012, says Shin. Oh, you're right. That's why they didn't do it. That's why we're looking at a Sylvari Gale shot and not a Sylvari Troubadour. It's because that's the crew. I can probably get the screenshot on screen. If I've been any good at my job in my own personal archive of game footage and resources and things. Let me see here. Resources drive. Game resources. GW 1 and 2. Guild Wars 2 vanilla. I do have a bunch of screenshots. Concept art, GDC concept art, vanilla trailers. Character creator. I only have them as like individuals. But maybe that's okay, actually. Yeah. Look at that. That's professionalism, isn't it? Look at how quickly I got that bad boy. So, yeah, that's the Elementalist. She's a human female. So, we'll see a human female next week or the week after. The Ranger was this Sylvari. Yeah. The Engineer. We're going to see a Char for the Engineer. That's Gux right there. Look at that fucking Gux concept art. I've got that on its own, by the way. Look at that. Look at the hands coming out of the ground. That is why the shadow outfit's so good. I need to get the glowing green eyes. Oh, Gux, you're the best. If you guys want your own Guxes, you know, just look at these. So there's Guardian. And that's what we were just looking at. The Thief was a Sylvari as well. God, I'm so biased and objective. All I have to do is look at that Thief concept art and I get all giddy and excited. There's something about core Guild Wars 2 press, man. Look at that shit. I want to play that. Mesmer with the one glowing eye. Norn Mesmer, I think that is. Norn female Mesmer was a interesting pick. Warrior. And then we're back. Yeah, so that's why it was those. Brilliant. Shin, you nailed it. You didn't get a notification on my phone? I went live? Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Hit the bell. Is the bell still a thing? I think you'll go in Shroud, and you can use each weapon skill once, or one has an attack chain that can be used once. Yeah, that's how it sounds. Yeah. No overheating? Oh, that's true. They could have done an overheating thing on the Luminary. Core Guild Wars 2 concept art was always amazing, says that dang boy. Yeah, but then also, I think the new stuff's really good too. I cannot fault what's in that blog post. I think it looks really good. And I'll say as well, by the way, on the topic of a Guild Wars 2, it does not look like they've skipped a beat in terms of art. They've always been incredible in terms of, like, engine, UI, art, music. They've always been Arenanet's strong points. Always so professional, so good. Where they fall down, I think, is design and storytelling. Which are not good areas to fail in, really, or to have as your weaker points. But they're still really good. And when we think about Guild Wars 3, I think they'll smash it out of the park on those as well. The bell is on for your end. It's just YouTube being dumb tube. I'm scrolling up here a little bit, trying to see some other insights. You should know better than to try and AFK in Guild Wars 2. I know, I'm on the Sky scale now. It works out now. I'm pretty sure we can... So Mix Chimmer earlier said, I'm pretty sure we can intuit that the name for the utility skills for the Gale shot will be Squall skills. You think they'll do a new skill tag and there'll be Squall skills? I have nothing against them doing that at all. I think it's fairly arbitrary what the tag is now. It used to, like, you know, a shout meant instant activation, high radius, whatever, but it doesn't anymore. It doesn't mean anything except just synergies with shit like relics. So I have nothing against them adding a new skill tag, but on that relic note, I wonder whether they will linger with existing tags just so that new relics can play off of them and other classes at the same time. Mesmer can literally do everything, and he's usually better than most. How in the world are they going to balance Mesmer getting even more support? Yeah, I mean, look, I think that's a bit hyperbolic, what you just said there, but I think the new support capabilities of this spec will have to be looked at carefully. You might see that they pull down healing elements in other specs, or rifle in particular, so that once you have the complete package, you're still at about the same power level, but the constituent parts are a bit weaker, just to push you into that elite spec when you otherwise wouldn't need it right now because it doesn't exist right now. Squalls sound like wells? They sound bigger than that to me. I don't know, I was thinking it kind of looks like Swirling Winds-esque stuff. Like, imagine a ground-targeted Swirling Winds, big, wide area manipulation stuff. I don't know. Tom Berry says, I've been replaying Guild Wars 2, but as a hardcore Iron Man challenge. I'm doing pretty well. You haven't died yet, but it's been amazing replaying the old stuff. Nostalgia's strong, especially with the OST. Oh, yeah, believe me, I know exactly what you mean. One of the things I want more than anything else is more incentive for core Tyrian areas and replaying the original stuff, because it is so strong. It's such a good game. Yeah, so like, all's well that ends well for Chrono. You might see they change a bit. But it depends. I mean, are they going to dogmatically say, okay, now that Troubadour exists, the only time you'll ever heal support is on a Troubadour, fuck everyone else? Or will they say they'll leave that space? I feel like they don't... They're not very dictatorial. And I think that leads to a lot of holes in the design a lot of the time. But Arenanet kind of just put stuff in and see where the chips fall, and then... affect outliers and try to encourage things that look like they're on the cusp of fun, and that's about as far as they go. And I would expect that same mindset for this wave. It was British, not wrong grammar. What, the spelling of Troubadour? I talked to... When I recorded with Boots the other day, alright, slight side note here, guys. I had some hummus. I had Rivita and hummus. And I said, I've got to take this pot of hummus downstairs. And he laughed at me for spelling hummus wrong. Only for it to turn out that I had spelled it correct. It's just the way that the British and the French spell it. So how do you guys spell hummus? Because for me, it's H-O-U-M-O-U-S. It's the double O-U, just like Troubadour. Anyway. Well, hopefully that was entertaining. It's a story. Sorry if this has been asked before, but do you think Guild Wars 3 is being worked on? Yeah. Well, by any other name. I don't know whether they'll call it that. I don't know what their internal name is or whatever, but yeah, they're definitely working on something. Too many hirings for Unreal devs. They got thrown under the bus by their own publishers last year. NCSoft West were like, Guild Wars 3 is being made, and they were like, what the fuck? And they have that comment where they say, just like with all studios, we have to make new things. You can play Heal Mesmer right now on Mirage, to my knowledge. I mean, Rifle does so much, you know. Yeah. You call it soil cream? Wow. Talking shit about hummus there. Ali says hummus O-U-O-U is correct in Arabic. Actually, I read... When I Googled it, because Boots made me second guess myself. When I Googled it, it said that no, the Arabic one is the M-M-U-S. That actually the... I'm going to say the word lazy spelling. The better spelling. Look, there's many ways in which American English is lazier than British English, but I respect that. We don't need all these extra U's in there. That's just French influence, all right? I like the simplification that America's gone with and continues to go with. And the simplified hummus I read on Google is the more accurate. You can't wait for Marto to serenade us. Yeah, I know. Rifle's nothing but very aggressive flute. Yeah. I wonder how the stories of the Troubadour will work. Yeah, so I think they did good with the lore connections on this. Let's have another real quick look here. Let's re-grab this blog post. So what do we see? We see a harp. Is it a harp when it's so small? I mean, aren't harps fucking massive? Do they have does that have a different name? I wouldn't ask, but usually with instruments, size does change it a lot, right? It changes the way that things vibrate and reverb through the chamber and stuff, changes the sound, so they call it a different instrument. Got the flute. I'm a little nervous that this is going to feel a bit like the Virtuoso. Just collecting notes instead of blades. But I guess the execution of the shatters is all going to feel completely different, so whatever. Whatever. I mean, at the end of the day... Also, do you think we still get clones? Oh, it's a lyre. There you go. A lyre is a small harp. Look at that. Beautiful. Thank you, guys. Okay, remember when I asked you all to quiz me about Tesserae? Quiz me on lyre. Let's retain that one this time. Yeah, so I don't know whether we still have clones. Virtuoso loses the clones and gets the blades. Do we lose the clones to get the notes? The sound is... another disappointment, actually, with today's reveal, for me, is, you know, the sound design behind this surely is the most interesting element. And that section of the trailer didn't really go on with it, did it? Remind me how Brits say herb with the H that is written there. Herb. Harps sound a lot deeper but are stationary. You guys think no clones? It does confirm 0 clones. Let's see, that was the lore. This is the gameplay. Okay, yeah. Opt to manifest their power by generating musical notes with their abilities rather than visually deceptive clones. Rather than. That is very suggestive there's no clones. I'm actually fine with that, by the way. Well, I don't give a shit about PvP or WoW versus World anymore. But, like, all visibility and how spectatable they are and all that stuff. Once upon a time, there was a fanboy that cared about all that. But they were always a death sentence and all the zooing stuff. Your shatter skills are replaced by instruments. You get an initial effect, but then something lingers. Yeah. I mean, look at that. Look at... Oh, God, that's so good. With the Gale shot there. See, I want to say this is just like the Blade Sworn, but you would have thought in the body text they would have said that, right? They would have said, blades, just like the Blade Sworn, the Cyclone Bow can be equipped at any time. I mean, wouldn't that be cool? The Cyclone Bow functions as a third weapon set for you, something like that. It would be like, oh, yeah! Or they would talk about how you lose as a weapon set or something. They didn't say any of that. So maybe it just feels like a kit. So clones turn into ammo for skills. Exactly, yeah. Yeah, that's my interpretation, and therefore, you know, it's very Virtuoso-esque. But I don't condemn the spec for that, because I think it's just the way that the buttons feel afterwards. That is nowhere near Boots' idea that they were going to have you play a mini-game like the actual instruments or anything. Maybe a conjure? They could call it a conjure weapon? Well, I almost feel like the Luminary stuff feels like that. I wonder what encouraged Arenanet to pick these 3 as their first showing. Is it because the other ones aren't quite finished yet? In past years, I'd be pretty sure about that, but I don't know, man. Yeah, I was interested to read that bit about freezing there as well. That sort of felt like a kind of a new theme getting thrust in there. But I mean, chilling winds. I get it. Dude, that pet thing's awesome. The fact it encourages you... Okay, seriously, yeah, chat. Did I miss it earlier? What am I thinking of? What is it that's in my head? There was definitely some new balance, right? Am I crazy? There was like, oh, pigs are really good. Like, will improve all your pig skills or something. Is that all the boars, the boar family? Was that something that came in a recent balance patch? Am I thinking about another game that had pets? Like an RPG that had pets and it buffed a certain family? There are just traits that buff specific pets. No, that is a thing, yeah. Core at launch? Did they remove them? Oh, there you go. Is it marksman buffs dogs? Could be that I'm thinking of. But I think this is good. This is very clever. Putting that on elite spec is cool. Gale Shot is the first wind-themed set of abilities we get. Yeah, unless you count playing that Zephyrite PvP game. I'll tell you, that would still bring me back to PvP, by the way. Festival queue. So I can queue in for snowballs properly. Every third tournament during Winter's Day is a snowball tournament. Shit like that. It'll be so good. Do it, Arenanet. I'm still waiting for it. Those game types are all so fun. And then you can get the activities in there as well, like South Sun Survival and stuff. Yeah, Beast Mastery does pigs and bears. Beastly Warden on Beast Mastery. There you go. I'm not crazy. That is a thing. I didn't articulate myself very well in the video section, but... So, and I like that. I wonder if they could retroactively do that as well. But what would pair well with Druid? I don't know. What would pair well with Soul Beast? I mean, Soul Beast is all the animals, really, in it. Wilderness gets spiders and devourers. Oh, does nobody get birds? Is birds like an obvious gap? That's kind of cool. If birds is an obvious gap in game already, you could have guessed this. Oh no, okay. They already have an avian, cat, and drake trait. Okay. Dude, a spider one? Holy shit. A spider-themed ranger spec one day? I would absolutely love that. I was toying with this like world-building idea. I don't know if I'm going to use it. Oh, it's very difficult to explain in a way that you guys will be on board. Basically, imagine a setting where magic is carried through light. Therefore, magic comes from stars. But it's science fantasy rather than pure fantasy. So, like, the nature of the solar system and the star is a thing. So, basically, stars are sleeping gods or spiritual entities. And the idea is that each star out there in the world casts it, like, of its nature. And it's kind of themed in a certain way. But each, like, god can be like an animal. So you have, like, the bear system and, like, the wolf system. And it somewhat subtly shapes and affects the lives of the fantasy species that live there. And anyway, so I kind of had I'm toying with that idea, and I kind of had this really amazing idea of the spider system, you know, like the spider god within the spider star. I think I just like spiders because I'm so scared of them. Spiders are cool. Anyway, and then over to the Luminary. Bastion was such a good name. With the whole fortification thing in the icon, Bastion of Virtue. So it's not a very defensively minded thing. That was something that in the podcast I was talking about with Boots, I never quite managed to articulate, but I have been wondering about. When we talk about having a defender or a sentinel or a bastion or whatever, these very defensively minded ideas, what space is there in the game for something like that? You know, when we talk about dual-wielding shields... I don't know, man. I don't know whether a lot of players are actually that titillated by it, even if it is an untapped area or whatever. So I'm not surprised to see they didn't go for that. With a name like the Luminary, I would have thought there'd be a bit more in the lore about bringing light to darkness or something. I don't know. Blazing arsenal of weapons. Or maybe let's talk about the difference between these and the spirit weapons we're already summoning. It's an interesting visual element having the lantern there. Hey, Cograth with the 5 memberships. Thank you. WP, do not forget to go to Amnoon and get confetti. What, are you telling me the Amnoon meta's up? No, it's okay. You were really on board with the Bastion idea? Yeah, I know, right? Luminary makes you think of Dragon Quest. It's a good class to tack it onto. The Radiant Shroud. Yeah. You could get ability to shoot from your back instead of your front like Firebrand does. You mean like giant pizza slices that aim backwards? That would feel very weird to use. Luminary also sounds like a bard to you. Luminary's the leader of the title leader into it. Yeah, I know. So I would have thought we'd get Exalted lore. Look, I think they've done okay with the lore here, but I think it... The Wild Hunt thing... The only one of the 3 that I think is very good, is the Gale Shot. You know, because the Dominion of Winds, the Tengu, Flight, the Cardinal Winds, all that shit has been there for years. And it's really clever and cool to tie that. I think that's beautiful. I think they did really good with the Gale Shot. Everything about it in terms of theming and story. The Wild Hunt shit for the Troubadour sounds completely arbitrary. If anything, it feels mismatched to me. Like, Troubadour to me is like an element of culture and society that's born from, like, you know, quite a late stage culture. I mean, I know for us in the modern first world, looking back, we look at the Renaissance and medieval France and stuff as old. But really, when you think about the Silvari, they're just basically a bunch of curious wandering plants. They have very little sense of high culture or anything like that, really. So, like, the Silvari, I don't know. I feel like it's just the DR stuff was perfect for it. And then this is just really weird. It doesn't feel Flame Legion-y to me. It doesn't feel Iron Legion-y to me. Yeah, the more I think about it, the more I don't like it. Radiant Shroud? I don't know. And then the name would have fit better with the Exalted. This is just a hodgepodge of stuff, it feels like. The sort of come together. You like the Char-themed Guardian spec? You've been wanting something tied to the Fofar? Me too, but this might not even be it. You just hope that they put a good story back into the specs? Yeah, well, you know, it's like I said to Boots. I wouldn't expect more than what we've always had. Well, not always. Look, there was basically nothing for Heart of Thorns, and there was a very obvious improvement with POF, where we had actual NPCs we could speak to in game. And not only that, by the way, but POF had like much better tool. Like, there's lore in the tooltips. Like, read the Firebrand tooltips and stuff. Especially Firebrand was really good. So POF was very, very good. EOD basically stayed on par, but was clearly time pressured, right? If they hit that level of POF again, I think I'll be all right with it, you know? What I definitely want is good elite specialization weapons and collections, and I want to be able to dig into them at least some way. And, yeah. Nico there says Luminary is more based on the Fofire and the Ghost of Ascalon. Okay, so hold on, wait. That was what I thought. And then I read the post, and I didn't actually see them talk about the Fofire ever. So I'm scanning here. I don't see anything about Ghost or Fofire there. Radiant Armaments is a trait name. I don't see anything about Fofire there. Scanning any of that. Or Ghosts. That's what's next. The lore section at the top. We talk about the scattering of the Char, the Flame Legion coming into the fold. And it's that they just commemorate the changing times with a joint project. It doesn't say that that project is about Fofire Ghost or anything. There's nothing there about the Fofire. It doesn't say Spectral Flame. It says Secret Flame. And it says Sacred Flame. I mean, It's just not there, guys. As far as this lore is concerned, this should be red. That should be red fire. That should not be blue fire. No, not red, sorry. You know, just fire. Orange fire. Normal ass fire. In fact, that would give it more of a distinct visual to make it stand out from the rest of Guardians or stuff that it already has. So I'm surprised they went with blue fire, actually. Wouldn't red have been the right... wouldn't orange have been the right call? That's funny, me getting orange and red mixed up, because wasn't there wasn't a word in English for, like, orange or red for years, right? For much longer than you'd expect. Like, the name of the fruit came before the name of the colour, I think, as its own thing. People just called it red. It's just another sort of shade of red. No, don't take away my blue glowing guard. No, I mean, you'll have a blue glowing guard. Oh, I see. You mean if they go for orange. You already have a blue glowing guardian. In a million ways, you already have that. So I don't know. All right. Ranked out of 3, guys. I think I'm going to wind it down here. So if you've got any big thoughts, let me know in chat. But my rating of the first 3 is this. Luminary at the bottom. Troubadour above that. Gale Shot above that. Which I did not expect. Gale Shot's a really good package. So that's the winner so far for me. What's the flame in the statue during the Char starting mission? Is it the faux fire? Yeah, all the early stuff is faux fire stuff. You wanted a black purple darkness guardian similar to a Malix Rev but distinctly guardian. Oh, believe me, I think that's really cool as well. For years I would have said, oh, that's your Dark Knight, but then they did Revenant. So yeah, I believe in it now. I believe in elite specs that turn the core identity of the class on its head. I know it's a bit weird where then you weapon swap and stuff and the colors seem a bit iffy and they don't line up or whatever. But fuck it, do it anyway. If Luminary is faux fire, I'm all for it. If not, it just doesn't make sense and it's very meh. I agree. And by the way, my little rating there of the 3 is very... It's all theme. You know, it's all fluff. It's all theme, because that's really the news we had here today. Maybe they're going to rebrand the Ephraim-led Flame Legion so they're blue, so that they're different to the Balefire loyalists. If they could do that, I guess. I don't want them to, though. I want to see them struggling with their past. And I want Geheron back, baby. The ultimate fan fiction to me is Geheron and Bangar having a bath. Don't ask me the logic. No, a 1v1 or something. Not having a bath. No. Having a 1v1. There you go. Oh, my headphone. By the way, talking about buying SSDs and things, I've got some really nice Sennheiser headphones. Sennheiser did a collab with me years ago and sent me some amazing gear. And it's weird because I don't do a face cam and I've always felt a bit odd about it. But I love these. They're so good. But I've been wearing them now for years. And the foam in the cans, in the actual, like, the big circular foam that would go against your ear, has got really tatty and is like coming out and stuff. And I've been thinking, shit, I'm going to have to pay a bunch of money to get another nice headset or whatever. But I realized you can just buy the new foam on like Amazon and just fix it yourself. So I did. I'm so excited to get that and fix that. It's going to be the best. You don't think they'd rebrand an entire Char Legion just for one new elite spec? No. Well, I don't know what they'd do. The rebranding kind of already happened, right? So yeah, if you guys ever have issues with your headphone foam, just check. Type your model in on Amazon. You can probably buy some new stuff. All right, guys. That's it. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your generosity. Let's give a round of applause there to John, who's been absolutely mental here, had the incredible... why isn't my viewer activity thing showing what he's done? Did the gifted memberships, helped with the SSD there. Unbelievable. We had a couple of other donations there. Cograth with 5 memberships. Thank you, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Join me next time. I guess I'll see you probably... the likelihood that you'll see me on Friday is quite low. I'll probably be there in the live chat over on the Guild Wars 2 channel. So I'll watch it, but the day after that, probably we'll have a long look back through the footage and we'll do another video like this. Check on the main page. I'll spin a VOD out of this. Thank you to everyone who supported that initiative as well and, you know, has encouraged me. I'm basically working just as hard as I have been, but it feels like there's more going on now just because I'm doing that, which is nice. So thanks, everyone. Honestly, it's been wonderful. Hit the link in the description before you buy the expansion, and it really helps me out. Join me in Discord. There's been so much conversation in Discord. I do live announcements as well. If you didn't get an announcement, I do personal announcements in Discord every time before I go live. Thanks for watching, guys. More from Visions of Eternity coming up. See you next time. I'm going to do the Mr. Modius outro instead of my classic one here, just because it's so good.